Hello everybody and welcome back to Europa, where last episode I talked about maybe going to war, I think, if I recall correctly. I took a couple of days off. It's hard to tell from your perspective, I'm sure. But I did take a couple of days off, and so I'm not entirely sure what I said last episode, but I think I talked about going to war. In retrospect, I don't like the concept of going to war right now. I don't think it's a particularly good idea because we need to deal with our economic situation here. We need to root out corruption, we need to finish up this missionary here, and we may actually want to drop this down. Can we see... Let's see, 8 January 1488. What if we crash this down to, hypothetically here, we're not going to, but 26 November 1521. Okay, so I'm wondering if there's any efficiency loss from doing this, or if it will cost the same amount of gold no matter what. It would just be a longer time. 0.1%. I mean, 1521 is a long ways away. There's no doubt about that. I think that we're probably better off just continuing with this 23 February 1487 and paying for it. Now, we do have a good number of loans right now, and we also have quite a lot of corruption. To that end, we need cash. Now, one thing we can definitely do is boost up our estate loyalty a little bit. That's not going to be super useful at the moment, but I want to do that anyway. Now, that's just bumping up the loyalty without changing the equilibrium, but they will gain 5 influence for 20 years. That's fine, and they are offering us several agendas. The estates of Mutapa have proposed agendas for the summoned Diet. Favoring one of the estates here could have large benefits in the long term. The clergy are concerned at the continued presence of unbelievers in our nation. They demand that we root them out, starting with those living in Kilwa. Well, let's see what the options for that are. Would take 66 months. If we started right now, which we kind of can't do because we're working in Quelimane, how long would we have to do that? I mean, conversion zeal isn't bad. Local missionary maintenance. But that's only in Kilwa. Okay. Good to know. So we would have 20 years to do it. We could theoretically do that. The nobility covet the lands of our Buhan subjects. They demand that we integrate them fully into our country. We are literally doing that right now. The merchant guilds request that we invest in the prosperity of the city of Masakesa. Okay, so they want us to increase the production there. I mean, that's something I would like to do, although maybe not necessarily in that location. Where is Masakesa? I don't actually know. It apparently doesn't exist. Okay. What is this actually? Manikia. Okay. That makes more sense. So that is off over here, and they produce ivory there. We would rather increase production if we're going to in gold-producing locations. So I think we're going to go with the proposal of the nobility here. And we'll not get a diplomatic reputation penalty for annexing Buha. We're already working on that, so I think that that is absolutely fine. We really, really do need to work on our financial situation, though. So let's take a look here, and... I mean, I guess this is reasonably okay. Our primary issue right now is that we just need to get rid of our interest payments, right? We do that, and we can start really working down the corruption. That said, we may need to debase our currency in order to pay off some of these loans, which isn't necessarily a great concept. Really, maybe we should drop our maintenance here of our colonies down to like 15 per year. That'll slow us down a little bit, but I mean, we're already pretty slow over here. And that doesn't really affect our settler chance from our colonist. So maybe that's our best way forward here. And we can spend a little bit more gold on rooting out corruption and make like 1 ducat per month. The other thing that we can do is stop drilling, but I would rather not do that right now. So let's get Buha integrated and see how that goes. I would also like to check in on our estates here. Okay, they're not drifted up high enough in their nobility, in their loyalty. That needs to change. Our Our truce with Ogeron and Mogadishu is over, so we can expand up this way if we want to. As I said before, though, I think that right now we need to tackle economic issues. Ooh, admin power. We're taking it. So we need to think about when we want to stop investing in technologies because of our lack of institution. I think this 50% bonus, or the 50% malice, rather, I think this is acceptable. Like, as in an acceptable time to stop. This is when it's starting to become pretty grim. That said, that may not be the case for the military technology, because I don't tend to like investing in the base manpower. I tend to find that just expansion gives you plenty of manpower, especially if you are to start building things like barracks. You're fine, in my opinion. So we may continue investing in Miltech. Natives in Matsolo. Okay, we don't care about the native size. Losing the stability does hurt a bit. 80 ducats is rough. This would speed up our settling dramatically, though. I mean, we can't afford it, but we also, I feel like, can't afford not to do this. This will put us negative, and this will mean we take another loan, which isn't great. However, we can debase our currency, and I'm going to do so. The next debasement is going to be next year. Okay. Ooh. Matsolo gaining a 25 settler increase is huge. That is enormous. I love it. That is magnificent. And of course, us being able to debase meant that we didn't actually take a loan there, which means that our interest payment isn't coming up. Yes, it isn't good to have corruption. This is true. But at least we can control how quickly our corruption spends down. And we can increase this slightly as well. So I think that's fine. And of course, in this time, keep in mind, we are continuing to see our autonomy in many of these regions over here come down. And that will also be good for our income. Mogadishu is building a spy network. No one is surprised about this. Absolutely no one. So when are we going to get our admin tech here? This will give us access to workshops, which is... Since when do workshops give a base production? Farm estates give 2 base production. That's definitely different. Ooh, plus 100 population. So that's a full 10% of what we need for this to finish up. That is magnificent. And in fact, I do want to be working on bumping our colonial maintenance back up. Can we get away with maxing it? Just about. We can turn down our rooting out corruption slightly, like this. It's not amazing. It's certainly not amazing. We could raise war taxes. I don't want to spend the military power on that right now, although we do have maybe some free military power, but I'd rather put that into an idea. And we've just converted Quelimane. Okay, so as of right now, I feel like we probably shouldn't pay the money to convert, or we should go by monthly cost and convert Lindy because it's cheapest. Yeah, we're going to do it that way. We need to fix our economy, and that's something that I would very much like to be focused on for now. When are our loans going to be coming due? 1490. 15 August, 1490 for all of them. Okay, so we have several years to work on this. That's good. Buha has been annexed. Wonderful. We can make this into a state, and so we shall. Now, are we still over our land force limit? Yes, we are. We should just get rid of these 3. Okay. And then these in here are going to be at 90% autonomy right now, and we are going to be able to bring them on down as we make more of these states. And that is only 3 governing cap. Okay, cool. Now, what edicts do we have available here? And what do these actually cost? State maintenance. Okay. Good to know, and I'm just taking a look at what these edicts are available here. That institution spread is pretty good, but there are no institutions around here to spread. Local missionary strength would be interesting. Manpower modifier might be something that is good to do later. Autonomy change would be pretty decent right now, but I think for now we're just going to leave it be and not issue any edicts. Oh, there's another state we can make over here. Okay, there we go. Fantastic. We don't need to do any coring. And now I'm wondering, how close are we here? Okay, 65 reasons because of economic base. I feel like that goes away when we fix our economic issues, when we get rid of our loans and work down our corruption. Hopefully that is indeed the case. That would be wonderful if it was. And we can debase again in a couple of months here. Now, keep in mind, debasing is not really fixing the problem. It's just moving the problem into another area, is I guess the best way I can put that. It's moving it out of interest and into corruption. It doesn't fix the problem, it just moves it around, and I am very, very aware of that. Our corruption is dropping, but not by very much, because we're not really focusing on it at this time. So we can debase, and we definitely will do that. The question is, do we just sit on this money until our loans come due? I think we just go ahead and repay one so that we're making more monthly. I think, yeah, it adds up to the same amount whether we repay it now or not, but I would rather have that monthly income be coming up so that we can put it into rooting out of corruption. And we'll just make around half a ducat per month right now. Yes, this is not going to pay off our loans very quickly at all at half a ducat per month. I'm aware of this. We're making good progress down here in Matsolo, and that is very, very good indeed. I'm wondering, since we're at plus 42 here, I'm wondering if we might be better off moving our colonist back over here. This is at 19.8. I feel like, I mean, as the colony level increases here, this will continue to drop. I feel like maybe once this drops below 15%, then it might be worth moving. That might be somewhere around where I'll consider that to be. I don't think that's strictly speaking accurate. I'm just making that number up. But something along the lines of that will be, I think, what we're going for. Okay, so our corruption is dropping by 0.16 per year right now. That's fine. And we're just going to continue shifting our debt over. Remember, we went quite heavily into debt up in this war up here. So I really do think that we need to work on that and just let that be worked out rather than going to war right now. We've also got Rwanda over here that I am very interested in vassalizing, but not until the economic issues are fixed. Would Nakor be more willing to yet? There's still that distance between borders malice. Okay, we can invest in a new idea. This would give us a merchant. The question is, I mean, working our way into faster colonists would be great. The question is, though, do we want another merchant? What would it be used for, really? This is an originating trade node. Nothing flows this way, but that's good. That's what we want. Because we want the trade to flow here, and then down to here, and then straight through, and then up into the Zanzibar trade node. This is ideal. Nothing is currently flowing out this way, and that's what we want. I don't think we can really make use of a merchant right now. But at the same time, I really do want to get into those faster colonists. I mean, I don't feel like factories is tremendously good, but getting into that additional colonist would be amazing, and the global trade power would be good too. I guess we can take this. And yeah, you can see here our corruption is increasing our power costs. That's for sure. We have an unassigned merchant, and what do we want to assign him to? For now, I guess we're just going to have him transfer trade power over down this way. It's not like that will actually be effective, because there's no trade power coming here. But I guess we'll just join in on this. No, don't go that way. Go this way. Thank you. Again, no effectiveness here, but it just gives him something to do. Wonderful. So we're at 91 gold right now, and what is the principal on each of these loans? 123? Okay. Good to know. I'm just going to toss 1 ducat per month into rooting out of corruption at this time. It's going to take a very long time for our corruption to go away at this pace. But I want to keep drilling our army until we're at least at salaried soldiers. Because I think that gives us our mission, right? Let's see here. Reform the military. Yeah, we would also need a military advisor. That's okay. Diplomatic relations +1. Cool. And let's see. What else do we need in here? I mean, we need to develop our gold-producing provinces. And that's something that I'm interested in doing. I think as soon as we get up to Dip Tech 6, that'll be fine. 2 base tax here. We can always take that merchant land back. Yes, I think that's a worthwhile trade for right now. Now we're going to want to get our crownland back up. We need our clergy to improve their opinion of us very slightly here. So we're going to let them do that. It'll take a couple more months, and then we'll seize the land. Okay, so our Inquisitor just died. For now, because of our economy, I'm not going to replace them until we have paid down these loans. But that does give us a lot of money to work with. I'm going to go until we're making 5 ducats per month now. Excellent. So our rooting out of corruption is much faster. It's not maxed, but it's much faster. And now we're making 5 ducats per month, and we should be in a much better place to pay off some of these debts. Excellent. We can enact a government reform as well, and that gives us Tier 3, Tribal Religion. So we can either go for Stability Cost Modifier -10% and Religious Unity +15%. Given our current religious unity, that's not terrible. And other option is Land Maintenance Modifier. Economically speaking, I feel like lip service is better. Economically. That religious unity will be good, but we can convert Sunni. So I think overall, land maintenance modifier is where it's at. Okay, so that'll bring us up to 5.74, which means we can toss a little bit more into rooting out of corruption. Fantastic. Almost half a point of corruption per year now. And we're still making 5 ducks per month. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Unfortunately, we aren't getting our admin power here. But we have to do it this way. That production efficiency is tempting. But that would basically wipe out all of our cash gains. And right now, I'm much more interested in getting out of debt. Much, much more interested. I'm going to debase again, which will allow us to repay 2 of our loans. Wonderful. We're going to continue rooting out corruption and make 5 ducks a month. Perfect. Now, our loans are going to come due again, but we only have 8 of them now. That is wonderful. We have 3.5% interest per annum, which is not ideal, but we're definitely going to want to make our way through some of that. Completed mission restore Zimbabwe. Okay, yeah, we're working on that. Actually, technically, I don't know that we are, but we are working on restoring this monument, which is where a lot of this debt came from, and that's probably a big part of our... Actually, we can toss manpower at this. Are we capped on manpower? We're very close to it. I'm going to toss 10,000 manpower at it. Boom. Excellent. We'll work on that. And this is probably a big part of the reason why... Well, it's not probably. This is the reason why we're in debt right now. There's no doubt about it. This is 100% the reason. But we need to work our corruption down. And yes, our corruption is overall going up right now. I'm well aware of this. But it's fine. It's completely fine. We will be in corruption for a while. That is for sure. But we've almost got our economy turned around, and that is great. What do these guys think about our economy at this point? 64 reasons. Okay, so that's getting a little bit worse, but that's okay. We don't actually mind that much. Now, tributaries. I can't remember. Can tributaries be vassalized? Or do you have to release them and then have a truce? I can't remember for Europa. Maybe we should make a save and for science it. Let's do it. We're going to make a save. And let's see what happens. Actually, I should have just read this, but will it be able to demand a yearly tribute from them? Blah, blah, blah. Yep, but I want to see... Looks like we cannot because they're dependent, but we can cancel the tributary. Okay. Sounds good. These guys would not accept a tributary status because we're not neighbors. Okay. So if we cancel this tributary, then we would be able to offer them vassalization later, which I think is acceptable. Wonderful. How are we doing down here in our colonies? They are growing, and growing reasonably well. Great. Now we are going to want to grab faster colonists as soon as we can. We're also going to want to work down our corruption to make that a little bit cheaper. But for now, it will be reasonably fine. We can continue to bump up our root out corruption, but we can also debase our currency again, which is counterproductive. But I'd rather not be paying interest right now. We can gain 2 mercantilism. Sure, we'll do it. And we'll pay that loan, and that will allow us to root out corruption just that little bit faster. Excellent. We're down to 2.5 ducks in interest, and we're definitely going to have these 7 loans come due. Maybe not all of them, but we're going to have a number of these loans come due, which means that we're going to have to take out another round of interest on them, which is not ideal. Remember, in Europa, you pay only interest unless you pay off the entire loan. You never pay down principal in Europa. Which is a big part of the reason why I prefer corruption. If I can handle it. Like, our corruption's getting pretty high, right? We need to definitely be worried about that. Congo's opinion of Mutapa. Do we care about the Congo trade node? Yes, we kind of do, but everyone is steering this way anyway, so we'll have our merchants keep a lower profile. This is fine. That merchant over here doesn't actually affect a single solitary thing. So I'm okay with it. How long do we have here? Okay. Ooh, -10 army tradition. Now, this is happening because of our corruption. We do need to drop our corruption. This monument upgrade will be done soon, but I'm going to use another 10,000 manpower to boost that by a little bit under 2 years? A little over 2 years. 730 days. Exactly 2 years. Okay, math is difficult, but I got there in the end. Perfect. So that moved up by, in total, 4 years because of us throwing manpower at it. We're not going to throw any more at it. Matsolo is now creating tropical wood. Okay. Sounds good, and we're going to have enough to repay a loan just from our income quite soon here. I do want to continue cranking up our rooting out of corruption. Wonderful. -0.59 per year. That is getting better. It's not great, but it's getting better. Shouldn't we be able to demand tribute from these guys? Do we have to manually do that? No, I don't think so. Maybe we do that in our subject screen. Let's see. Yeah, we demand ducats as a tribute. 4 ducats, huh? I would rather... 432 manpower is probably better than 4 ducats. Yeah, I'm going to take the manpower from them. Okay. I would value 432 manpower at, I think, higher than 4 ducats. 4 ducats is not much. Not much at all. We can debase, and I'm going to go ahead and do that yet again. We need to stop at some point, but we can repay 2 of our loans. And that means that we're only going to renew 5 loans, I think. Yes. And those all renew. That will bump up our inflation, but our inflation is naturally coming down. So that is just fine, and we're going to continue doing more rooting out of corruption. Wonderful. And with that, it is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, and next episode, we will finish getting this debt situation under control, I hope. And maybe, just maybe, think about going to war. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and I will see you all next time.